Hey everyone, welcome. It's Winning Wednesday with Sonia and
Jeannie, hi.
hello. It's been 2 weeks and it feels like it's been forever. I cannot believe it's amazing. Like summer flies by, but at the same time, it's like, we were not here for 2 weeks and it seems like forever.
It really does.
Well, welcome back. We are super pumped to be talking about one of my favorite, and I know it's Jeannie's favorite too, topics, and that is, nutritional supplements that are solutions for reducing inflammation. We've been doing this little series on inflammation and would love to know from you guys if you think it's been helpful. It's been helpful as a reminder for me having to do the research and, you know, get ready for this and everything. Has it been helpful
Mhm.
for you too, Jeannie?
Yeah, definitely. I love talking about inflammation quite a bit because it's really there's a lot of new stuff that's out. Always good to stay on top of things.
It's crazy because literally, I was talking to a doctor recently and I said, if you had to summarize like one thing that you think is really at the root cause of all disease, what do you think that would be? And she looked me straight in the face and she said, inflammation. So you are here listening to the right topic because, truly inflammation is the thing. It's the storm that is brewing inside of your body before all the disease happens. So what we're talking about today related to inflammation are some solutions to help your body kind of calm down that fire so that over time you do not develop these things. Now, we're not here to give you medical advice. Of course, we're not diagnosing, curing, or treating a disease, but it's all about prevention. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So if you guys are here live, let us know you're here down in the comments below. And we are live all over the place, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And if you're on the replay, let us know that you were here as well. All right, so let's get into this. Last week we talked, or 2 weeks ago, because we weren't here last week, we talked about nutrition and how to eat for reducing inflammation. Week one, we talked about what is inflammation and where does it come from, how do you get it, that kind of thing. And today we're going to dive in and talk about some of our favorite supplements for keeping inflammation at bay. So just as a little reminder, there's a lot of things that can trigger inflammation. So I went through and am still dealing with an ongoing battle of toxic mold. That is one thing that can trigger inflammation, or any other environmental toxin. Stress, we know, can trigger inflammation, poor diet, no sleep. What are some other things that you can think of, Jeannie, that trigger inflammation?
Chronic disease is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Anything in the chronic disease area can cause inflammation. Um, you said stress. That's
Stress,
a big,
lack of
big
sleep.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a big one.
Mhm.
So, I mean, we're living in a world that is very toxic. We're living in a world where, our days have become so overburdened with activity, whether it's a good activity or something that you feel stressed about doing. It's just a lot, right? Both
Mhm.
Jeannie and I are dealing with grief. That is a source of stress internally, which causes inflammation, right? So there's all these factors that are surrounding us. And it's like, all right, well, what are we going to do about it? And so that's what we want to do. We never want to leave you in despair. We want to offer solutions. So, Jeannie, talk about some of your favorite supplements or some of the things that you do, because I know some of them are food based. And when you look at
Yeah.
supplements, in my opinion, the root of supplements should be related to something from our diet or something that our human body actually needs. And so that's what
Yeah.
we're going to talk about today. Talk about some of your favorites. I would love to hear.
Okay, sure. I have a few actually here. I brought over a simple spice that we could use called turmeric.
Or
I like
turmeric,
to
depending how you say it, right?
yes, turmeric or turmeric.
Yes. Tomato,
And
tomato.
so yeah, there you go. And so I love using it like I make when I'm making Indian food, I add it to curry or I'll add it to an anti-inflammatory chicken soup that I make. Or you can add it to like any meat-based, like you can add it to anything, but it's a great addition. Also, you can actually add turmeric to your tea. You can add like a little bit of this to your tea as well. Now, there's a little tip that somebody shared with me. And I'm not sure if it's true. I haven't looked it up, but they said if you add a little pinch of salt with the turmeric, it'll help with the absorption of it. So I thought that was a pretty cool tip. And it goes with the Celtic sea salt that you talked about. I think it was a couple weeks ago. So, like, if you're doing that, might as well add the turmeric. Why not?
And
So
actually, to
that's
take
one.
that a step further, you can add black pepper. That's one that really black
Ooh,
pepper really is huge. If you remember the Phyto Golds we used to work with, Phyto
yes.
Gold had turmeric, but also had black pepper because black pepper
Mhm.
really drives the absorption. So, word to the
Mm.
wise, if you're using a turmeric, I say turmeric, she says turmeric. So whatever you want to call it. If you are using a turmeric supplement, which I truly don't think you need to because it's available in a spice, as long as
Mhm.
you're getting a good, clean, organic, high quality spice, you can put that stuff on anything. You can put it in your smoothie in the morning, your protein shake, in
Mhm.
your tea. But yeah, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and blend it
Okay.
all up, right?
Ooh, sounds good.
Okay, awesome. So you make it into tea. What else do you do with the
Yeah.
turmeric?
I
Anything
I
else?
make the soup, that I do and when I make curry, I add it to, like, seasonings if I'm, seasoning up, like, poultry or, you can even add it to, legumes. So,
Mm,
yeah, really, it's very versatile, and that's why I like it because, you don't really taste it too much if you're adding other seasonings, you don't really have that strong taste of it. Uh, the other thing too I wanted to add to it, I don't know, we mentioned this 2 weeks ago, but garlic is really good.
mm.
And I add tons of garlic to my cooking. I love garlic. So, whether it's Italian food or Asian inspired food, I definitely love adding garlic, and it's a great anti-inflammatory.
Love it. So
Yeah.
two examples of food being medicine, literally.
Mm,
So
yes.
nature's anti-inflammatories and kind of spinning off that same thought as we kind of talk about food. We talked last week about foods that are high in healthy fat or omega-3 fatty acids, and one of those being fatty fishes, right?
Mhm.
And you have to be a little careful with fish because unfortunately, we live in a toxic world. The oceans are a little polluted. And so you want to be careful that you, A, are getting wild caught fish, but if you're using a fish oil supplement or even just eating fish for that matter, you want to make sure it's a very clean supplement. And I personally, this is what I use, and this this last time I made a mistake and ordered the plain and not the lemon kind, so I'm literally taking spoonfuls of fish right now. It's pretty gross. So word to the wise, if you use cod liver oil, this is what I use, and this one bottle lasts me like forever.
Wow.
Um, but it's much more bioavailable and absorbable than taking fish oil in a pill, but
Mhm.
buy the kind that is lemon, not the plain. I don't even know why
Mm.
they have a plain. I guess there's could be people that are allergic to citrus fruit or something. But every morning I have to do like one of these when I take it, but then I take my trim right afterwards, so at least that tastes good.
Yeah,
But
I remember taking that as a kid.
yeah, cod liver oil. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, cod liver oil has been around forever,
Mhm.
but it is literally one of the best anti-inflammatories you can use. So, cod liver oil, if you need help with brands or anything, with any of the things that we're
Yeah.
talking about today, just drop a comment below. We'll make sure to get you the information. But so this is one of my personal favorites. All right, up next, what you got for us, Jeannie?
All right, I've got a vitamin D3 K2, and I love it because it's a dropper.
Hmm.
It's liquid. I don't it like you get overwhelmed with all the pills sometimes, and it's nice when you can shake it up and just get the liquid. And I just put a little drop on my tongue right before I take my magnesium in the evening, and I'm good to go.
Yeah, and that's a great supplement. I use the same one.
Mhm.
It's great for kids, it's great for adults, like,
Yeah.
my little nephew who's 6, he will not choke down pills, but we got him because his vitamin D levels were low. A 6-year-old with low vitamin D, go figure.
No.
But we got him to put the drops in his mouth, and we started as a game saying, "We're gonna put water drops in your mouth." And now he knows this as he's gonna have his water drops. So my sister
Mm.
drops, water drops on his tongue every night. So,
Wow.
but vitamin D is really anti-inflammatory, but it's
Mm,
really important. Jeannie said something with that particular product. It's much more effective if
mhm.
K2 is also in the supplement. So there's so
Yeah.
many people that just buy vitamin D, and while that's better than nothing, vitamin
Mhm,
K2 actually helps the absorption of the vitamin D, so that it's like a power couple.
mhm.
So you
Yeah.
definitely wanna make sure you do a vitamin D plus a K2, and a liquid form is more optimal because you can also customize the dose. So on that, for example, 1 droplet is 1,000 milligrams. So
Mhm.
if you're doing 5,000 per day, it's 5 droplets, all right? So it's easier to customize it than to have like a pill, right? So that's a good one. I definitely love vitamin D. Okay, so next up, you guys know, and I will talk about this to my grave, uh, collagen. Most people think about the collagen and its anti-aging effects for skin. And while it's yes, taken 10 years off of my face without doing Botox fillers, cosmetic procedures, or any of those things, it's also really anti-inflammatory. And I believe
Mm,
when you look at your skin being your largest organ, your skin, think about how many people have inflammation or inflammatory problems in their skin. They get breakouts, they
mhm,
get like rosacea and
mhm.
dry patches. Like a lot of inflammation can occur within the skin too.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about inflammation, we're not talking about just like inflammation in one spot. This is systemic. So a
Mhm.
lot of times, if you have a lot of systemic inflammation in your body, it will show up on your skin.
Mm.
When I was going through my, darkest times with mold, I had a lot of acne around here coming out, and I'd get
Wow.
really good at hiding it, but
Mhm.
I would have weird acne because it makes your hormones go sideways. But
Yeah.
collagen and hyaluronic acid and chondroitin sulfate, which are all 3, so it's like a 3-in-1 product.
Mhm.
Got a glare here, but all 3 are in this product. So it helps with
Yeah.
reducing joint inflammation, inflammation in your gut, inflammation in your soft tissue,
Mm,
inflammation in your skin, your gums.
mhm.
It also helps, of course, your hair, nails, all those things. But from an inflammatory perspective, collagen, hyaluronic acid, and chondroitin sulfate, which we make very abundantly when we're younger,
Mhm.
as we get older, those levels begin to decline, and therefore we see a lot of inflammatory problems. Think about how many people have arthritis,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this is going to cure your problem,
Mm,
but it will make a big difference in
mm,
reducing the inflammation in your body. So,
yeah.
I can't live without this stuff. It is literally liquid gold. I would shower in it if
Mhm.
somebody made that option. The closest thing we have is collagen hair shampoo and conditioner, and that's awesome as well. But
Yes.
nonetheless, I believe everybody needs collagen in their life. So,
I totally agree. Love my collagen. Yes.
if I had to leave all supplements behind and could only pick one thing, right here.
'Cause
Just it.
it just does so much. Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
really is a multi-purpose, most people look at it and they're like, "Okay, well, it's great for skin and hair and nails," and it is,
Mhm.
but there's so much more to it, to the
Yeah.
story than just hair, skin, and nails.
Yeah.
You get glowy skin and look youthful by helping everything else in your body, which is really
Yeah.
awesome.
And I love that it helps your body produce more collagen.
Yes. Thank you for
Yeah.
saying that. And more hyaluronic acid.
Yeah.
It's like it's the ultimate biohack, really.
Mhm.
And when you think about aging, we cannot stop the clock, but what we can do is talk about things to reduce inflammation
Mhm.
and turn back the clock so that as you age, you're not like a, you look and feel good, and B, you're not broken while you're aging. You're not suffering
Mhm.
from every disease under the sun, right? So
Right.
that's why we talk about this stuff now so that when you do get older, you're like you feel good as you age. I think it's so important.
I agree.
All right, what else do you got for us?
All right. So the next one I have is Phyto Reds. I think you have the greens,
And
right?
Phyto greens, yep. So
Yeah.
they're kind of in the same category, but tell us about them.
Yeah. So actually have the Phyto greens too, but basically these help with inflammation in the body, but it also, I think it's the Phyto Greens that has adaptogens in
Mhm.
them. And the Phyto Reds has, I'm trying to remember because I actually haven't used it in a while because I've been doing the Phyto Greens. But one has adaptogens and the other one has, what does it have?
It
I'm
has
trying to,
really
what
good
does it have?
anti-inflammatory red foods. So think about anything in the red family. So pomegranates and strawberries and beets, and all of that can be really good for nitric oxide production in the body.
Mhm.
And, anytime well, everybody as they age, our levels of nitric oxide also begin to decline. So having
Yeah,
those reds is really powerful. I like to mix them together because it makes the greens taste better.
I agree. Yeah.
And
Uh,
B, you get the benefits of both formulas, the adaptogens in the greens and
yeah.
all the cardiovascular and vascular support with the
Mhm.
reds. So really good power couple there.
I agree, and because of the adaptogens in there, that in itself helps to kind of keep your stress levels kind of leveled, where you're just calmer and you do feel a difference after, I would say after a couple of weeks actually.
Yeah, actually,
Mhm.
depending on how stressed a person is, but
Yeah.
remember, stress is one of the biggest causes of inflammation. So
Mhm.
using an adaptogenic formula is also key. So if you can get that sort of anti-inflammatory component
Yeah.
along with the adaptogenic herbs, like that's a home run. And what I love most about these powders is they're really affordable too. I
Yes.
mean,
Yeah.
literally, I could throw these in people's like Christmas stockings, it's that
Mhm.
affordable. So
Mhm.
definitely love these. Okay, anything else that you brought along to talk about today?
That is it on my side.
Okay, I've got a couple more things that I want to, give some time and attention to. And that is when we look at, we've talked a lot about things that help with inflammation systemically, but inflammation, one of the biggest places it occurs is within your
Yeah.
gut lining. You hear about leaky gut.
Mhm.
And your gut is mission control for your immune system. So if you have an inflamed gut, you have lowered immune system, or you have lowered your immune system or your immune function. I guess that's probably a better
Mhm.
word for it. And therefore, you become more susceptible to anything and everything, right? So you hear any and every expert in the world of functional medicine say it starts in the gut. And that is like sounds so cliche, but it really does. So we want to do things to support our gut health to make sure that our gut is not inflamed. And if you're having a lot of constipation or diarrhea or bloating or gas
Yeah.
or just miserable every time you eat, you got some inflammatory stuff going on in your gut. Now, you can give a label to it, but basically it's inflammation in your gut. So I love this product. It's called a Trebiotic, and this is the chocolate flavored one because it's like a
Mm.
single serving, like little stick. But these are little beadlets that are a pre, pro, and postbiotic all in one. So I don't have to take three different formulas. Again, kind of like the collagen, it's all in one. This is all in one. So a prebiotic is the food that feeds the probiotic. The
Yeah.
probiotic are all of those really great bacteria that we want to populate our gut with. Because if your gut is not filled with the right type of bacteria, or we don't have enough bacteria. I mean, there's so many factors, but basically, if we'll make it simple. If your ecosystem in your gut is not healthy with good bacteria, you have problems. So this
Mm.
helps to feed, of course, the probiotics, and the probiotics populate the gut with healthy bacteria. But the most important part is the postbiotic, in my opinion. The postbiotic
Mhm.
actually is the one that is responsible for essentially helping to support the health of your gut lining. So decreasing that inflammation in your gut lining, because when your gut lining is inflamed, we got a lot of problems and they
Mm.
go way beyond your gut. So definitely a pre, pro, and postbiotic. So I love this Trebiotic. Definitely one of
And
my
it tastes good. Yes. I
yeah.
love it.
And then the last one I brought along, and again, we could sit here all day and talk about different supplements, but I'm trying to think about the different systems in the body and how they
Mhm.
relate to inflammation.
Yeah.
And having gone through this experience with toxic mold, I can
Mm.
tell you my body got very inflamed. And one of the things, and as a matter of fact, I was so inflamed that I could not take this supplement I'm about to talk to in the very beginning. It was too much because it
Okay.
helps to detox the body. Because
Mm.
when you detox, if you detox too quickly, that can trigger more inflammation, but we need to detox in order to get rid of some of the inflammation. So it's really a fine balance. So
Mm.
the product that I absolutely love, this is liposomal glutathione. So glutathione is actually the master antioxidant in our body.
Mm.
It's another thing that unfortunately over time with stress, with
Mm.
inflammation, with chronic illness, with mold, with environmental toxins, our glutathione levels, unfortunately, because they're supposed to help with the detoxification
Mhm.
process in the body, but that whole detox system suffers because your liver becomes overburdened with toxins. So taking liposomal glutathione can actually help your body decrease the toxic load. And again, we bring down the toxic load. What do we reduce? What's that word?
Yeah.
What's that thing we reduce?
Inflammation.
Inflammation,
Yeah.
right? So you guys
Yeah.
get this. It's not just a take it for the thing. It's we got to
Mhm.
think about the different systems in the body and how we can reduce inflammation there. When we do that, we reduce inflammation systemically. So the things that we're
Mm.
talking about today all help with reducing systemic inflammation, not the cut on your finger, although that probably will be helped as well too. But it's really thinking about those solutions that we can take internally
Mhm.
to help decrease inflammation. And I know you do some things. You mentioned some things you do at night too, Jeannie, with drinking
Yeah.
something.
Oh, tea. Yes. I definitely drink I think tea is very, very helpful with decreasing inflammation. You do wanna find, of course, organic, just making sure that it's sourced properly, um, 'cause, you can have a lot of pesticides on the leaves and you're drinking them, right?
Mhm.
And so I love to do, a tea. I forgot what it's called. I think it's got ginger. All I can remember it's ginger, and it's real ginger. It's like a loose tea, and it's got ginger in it, but there's also some other spices, and it's all herbal, so it's not gonna keep you up at night. Really good stuff that, for your body. I also do a chamomile lavender tea, which is so good, and it helps to calm you down, right? That chamomile, you always hear about, drink a cup of chamomile tea before you go to bed. And then I do a decaf green tea with a slice of lemon. And I just love that. It's like a ritual, every evening at 8 o'clock, I get a cup of tea. It's like 8 o'clock, cup of tea.
I love it.
And so whether you like cold tea, because I know you like iced tea, Sonia, or hot tea, doesn't matter. I think tea is an excellent, excellent thing to have in your diet on a regular basis because it does help with inflammation in the body.
Mhm. So good. And most people don't think, I mean, it's so simple. We have all these tools, and we're not suggesting you have to do all these things. We always love to give options.
Mhm.
If I had to put things in a hierarchy, I could definitely do that. I told you the one supplement I can't live without. But so we always like to work with people to customize your program because both of us, this is what we do. We help
Mhm.
you customize your nutraceutical plan so that it works for your goals. Mine are different than yours. And, this whole journey I've been on with mold, I have gone through different chapters with it. And every time,
Mhm.
with the exception of a few core key products, but my supplements have changed, but they've all been revolving around this sort of reduction of toxins and inflammation. So it's really been a journey that's helped me come full circle because now, having gone through it myself, I can more intelligently speak about it. And
Yeah.
inflammation
And
is
for me,
something
it's
you do not have.
I mean, for you, it's like the toxin. For me, it's menopause.
Yeah.
uh, Decreasing the inflammation of my body because inflammation increases as when you go through menopause and postmenopause. Like there's a lot of risk factors that are increased because now estrogen isn't functioning like it should be. And for me, like my functional medicine doctor said, my estrogen levels are in the toilet. So, so yeah, I really need all these things because you want to help to support your body as it ages.
Mhm.
And it helps with when you decrease inflammation in the body, that helps your system run efficiently, like your metabolism and everything else. And that's what we need when we're older.
Speaking of which, yeah, so, before we conclude today, I think it's important to talk about something you just said, is that, so many people wanna lose weight, but their body's so inflamed, so they are restricting calories and exercising like a fiend, and, nothing's happening, and they're like, "Okay, I'll just try harder," right?
Mhm.
They're not really fat or overweight. They're overweight. I didn't say that right. They're overweight, but they're not over fat necessarily. They're very inflamed.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying you don't have body fat to lose, but if you've gained a large amount of weight quickly, a lot of times it's hormonal related, but
Mhm.
it causes a lot of, these things that we've talked about cause a lot of inflammation in the body. If you're really inflamed, good luck with losing weight. So I know
Yeah.
that and we've talked about this a couple times, but I think it's important to mention the program that we both did recently
Mm.
that can really be helpful for helping reduce that toxic inflammatory weight. Talk to me about that a little bit.
And you'll hear a little bit from myself and Sonia. We're two different people with different needs and goals, but yet we had really great results with this 5-day reset. And so for me, I went through the 5 days and I was able to get rid of 4.6 pounds. But what I'm really, really proud about is the 1.1% body fat loss.
That's
Um,
amazing.
right? And I not only that, but I felt lighter and I had more energy and I was able to sleep better. So it's as we get older, it's really a lot more about how we're feeling, right? And then comes, oh, okay, I want to look good too. But the feeling is so important at this point in our lives. And I felt fantastic coming out of it. And it's something you can do once a month. So
Mhm.
Sonia, share your results. I'm so excited to hear.
Well, I beat you by zero point 0.1 pounds because I lost 4.7 pounds.
Oh, wow,
Would not
okay.
measure my
Yeah.
body fat lost. That scale in my house is broken. I just have the generic one right now, but
Mhm.
nonetheless, you can kind of tell when your body fat has decreased, right? So all you have to do
Yes.
is look down at your stomach.
Mhm.
And,
Mhm.
if you see that inflammatory, that's where we carry a lot of inflammatory weight, especially, after you've gone through menopause or in perimenopause.
Mhm.
A lot of that weight, inflammatory weight settles in the midsection. So when you have a program that you do, and the first thing that is like your stomach got a lot flatter, you're like, something worked, right?
Yes.
And it's not a deprivation thing, which is what I really love, but it's sort of
Mhm.
retraining the metabolic system to be better optimized, to run off more efficient fuel. And when you do that, you reduce inflammation. And then the rest of what you're trying to do to lose weight should be more effective. So, like Jeannie said, you can do it once a month. So, if to anyone that's on a weight loss journey right now, I would say doing a 5-day drop once a month and then continuing on, obviously, with your clean
Mhm.
eating, any of the supplements that we talked about to help you keep that inflammation down is going to be so key to helping you with your long-term weight loss goals too. So, I think
Absolutely.
that's a perfect way to end this conversation because there's nothing better than giving yourself an optimal reset. Because
Mhm.
when you're inflamed, you gotta break that pattern somewhere, and just taking a supplement here and there is helpful, but we have to really break that pattern of why you're inflamed, and that metabolic reset can do a huge dent in that process. I really love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, this was a lot of fun. If you guys would like any information on the things that we shared, as I mentioned, just drop a comment in the comments below wherever you're watching from. Or if you're like in the witness protection program and don't want to comment, send us a message. Our inboxes are always open, and we'd be happy to help you find those solutions that are going to work for you and where you're at in your journey with reducing inflammation. So I hope you guys found this helpful. We are live in public places. You can share this broadcast with anyone you think it might help. And we will see you guys again next week. So thanks for being with me, Jeannie.
Bye.
Everyone.